AFTV statement win. That's what I did. That's the only word that I can use to describe that today.
Yeah, look, that's exactly what that was. I think everyone said that, there's been a thumping come in for someone. We probably just didn't expect it to be the side that was third in the league, coming here, probably one of the better formed sides in the league, one of the better formed sides in Europe.
A formed team in Europe.
Yeah. Look, they were, and obviously we talk about the number of games. Obviously, you've got to remember some of those were in the Europa League against probably some quite questionable opposition, but they also beat us. They beat a number of sides in the Premier League and looked quite convincing doing so. Not necessarily doing it completely smoothly, coming from losing positions at times, but getting it over the line, which is what we've been doing as well secretly. But our fans haven't necessarily given us the credit for it. So it was pleasing today to see that we could be clinical. We could take our chances. I thought the ref lost the game in the first half. I think half time probably came at the right time for everyone, including the referee. I think the fans were starting to get a little bit frustrated. The ref seemed to lose it a little bit, and then we came out second half a completely different side, and just showed the levels. Absolutely put them to the sword. And then obviously once that happened, they have to open up, they have to expand a little bit, and then you start to pick them apart with your quality. Disappointing that the Declan Rice news was leaked 4 or 5 hours before the game. That shouldn't really. I don't really think that should be happening. But we resolved it. I think they probably changed their setup a little bit. I'm not sure Morgan Rogers probably would have played as centrally if Declan Rice had been in there. He's obviously played a lot off the left hand side recently. They put Buendia out there. He didn't really get in the game. There were times when Onana and Morgan Rogers were able to get beyond our midfield and run, and you could see the difference that a little bit of pace and power in the midfield makes. We adjusted it in the second half. Our distances were a little bit better. And then we put them to the sword, and when we had chances, we took them. Saves that Ryan makes at the end, absolutely superb, and you're therefore disappointed for him that we then concede one a couple of minutes after. How they took so long it felt like they were trying to find reasons to chalk off every single goal that we scored, and in the end you end up with 8 minutes extra time because they can't do their job. But we did our job. And that's the most important thing. I think.
Can this team do it? Our job. Come we're a day away from 2026. Come May. Can this team do the job?
Look, simple answer is yes, because I think that when I look at the corresponding fixtures from last season and the ones that we've played this season, I believe that we're 12 points better off in the corresponding games in terms of games like this game, the Brighton game, those games where we dropped points last season, where we've been able to pick up and turn those losses and those draws into wins this season. We're currently 12 points better off as a result of that. So when people want to criticise Arteta, I can absolutely understand it. But then when the facts are telling you that actually there's been a significant improvement, you have to look at that and go, they're taking this very, very, very seriously. Obviously, Waneri doesn't make the squad today. Again, testament to the fact that we have to take these things seriously. Yes, you want to bring youth players through and all of that. But you look at that bench, and that bench... That bench is almost built for every game situation. So if you're not winning the game, you've got attackers that you can bring on. You get a midfielder like Moreno who's on a yellow card. You can bring Norgard on. He's done very well in the last few weeks. Obviously, like I said, disappointed not to have Declan Rice. More disappointed for me that the news was leaked. I don't think journalists, certainly Arsenal-based journalists, should be doing that 4 or 5 hours before the game. But we took it all in our stride, and what we had to do today was get it over the line, because if we didn't do that, all the pitchforks would have been out. The media would have been out. I saw a quote that Unai Emery wouldn't shake Arteta's hand because he said it was too cold. If that was the other way around, then Arteta had lost the game and stormed down. What would Sky be saying? What would the BBC be saying? What would they all be saying? They'd have it out for him. So yes, look, I'm glad. I think he's a sore loser. It's disappointing that he's associated with our football club. And every time we get a chance to put one over on him, I'm there for it.